Hi, I will start class. Okay, today I will begin with the syllabus. The name of the classes that I teach is neither school psychology and or modern medicine. I started out as a Roman Catholic and Buddhist nun. I am an owner and MD at Golden Living and Dignity Health. At the University of Modesto, I got my DNP in ethnic, which is political law, and FNP in ethnic, which is municipal law, which allowed me to have a doctor of jurisprudence, serving as chief justices. At the University of Oxford and the University of Pennsylvania, I finished with my board psychology degree. And what I do there is the registration by verification, accreditation, and credential of therapists, doctors, MDs, physicians, psychiatrists, and psychologists nationally. And there is always some exception. Okay, the syllabus. 1. These are pass or no pass university credit classes. It is accredited because of my teaching obligation. And here you go. I have letters from the U.S. Department of Education, and they tell me to teach. Papers upon papers upon papers. This is just a semester. I also landed the job due to my parents' blessing, Dr. Philip Chao, MD, and his wife, Dr. Elizabeth Whale, MD, are medical doctors, earned through the military and at a university collaborated worship sanctuary. I teaches at home due to multiple burden. I donate my salary to my son, Mr. Sid Sahara, Gaga, and Taiga charity program. I also donate to the United States of America GDP, 1,000 trillion a year, the nation budget. Unlimited resources as agreed. If I make it easier on you, it is also easier on me. It is a win-win situation. I am not here to flunk anybody. 2. There's always going to be a cheat sheet and or PowerPoint before the exam, during the exam, and after the exam. There are going to be a once a month exam. For example, all you need to do is hand in your cheat sheets as exam. I provide the question and the answer to the cheat sheet. It's just a matter of participation. Just rewrite it, because this is how some students study. Repetition, repetition, and repetition. The final is entirely learning knowledge of the course. It is collectively everything you learn and found on a cheat sheet and or PowerPoint. 3. Two main topic in psychology from the Psychology Day issue is feedback and insight. These can be found on the magazine. If you did not purchase any of the magazine, there are cheat sheets and PowerPoint assisted slides. Moreover, handouts. Handouts are questions and answers that are given and can be used before, during, and after the exam. It must be turned in for credit. It's are the cheat sheets. General topic. There are always going to be an introduction in what you learn today topic. Introduce yourself and your daily learning experiences. Your day-to-day classes participation. Subject covering will be discussed. 5. Class participation. Coming to class every day guarantee you an A plus. And doing all your homework also secure you with an A plus, which is a pass. How do we do it? How do you study? Doing all the work is how you should do it. resulting in a pass. For example, if you flunk any of your cheat sheet exam and or the final, you can still pass with an A+. Plus. Handling work on time is a must. Time management are crucial. Participation are not optional. Priority are. Any scholarship in a sport program from or outside of the university also guarantee you with an A+. Plus. A GPA or warranty. A pass is within reach. It is there. Attendance are taken daily. Printing and signing the syllabus are collateral. We cannot go any further unless you turn in your printed and signed syllabus. This allowed to receive an extra grade boost. Exam 1 to 3 are cheat sheets and PowerPoint. Handouts are questions and answers that are provided. All you need to do is rewrite it for repetition. These are one study techniques. These are handouts. Finals are taken from exam 1 to 3. Handouts are also provided. Testing for the final is on Thursday, December the 5th, 2019 at 4 to 5:30 p.m. PST. Makeup will be the following day on Friday, December the 6th, 2019, same day, from 4 to 5:30 p.m. GPA is cumulative from the final and exam 1 to 3. In conclusion, there will be a pass or no pass notation, taking into consideration other combination of classes that most student takes. The syllabus also guarantees you with an A+, a pass for the class. Here's an example of the student records, the date and their names, syllabus if you turn in your syllabus, attendance, the exam 1, 2, 3 at the final, and then the GPA, and then a pass for no pass. Print, date, sign. I am a faculty. My name is Dr. Somavtei Doukbun, MD, registered trademark and copyright, head of faculty at University of the Pacific. Okay. Some student missed class, so I'm going to start with the lecture. Okay, Wednesday, December 4th, 2019. December 2019 issue, 10 of 11. The power of boundary. Learn to set limits. It is from this magazine, Psychology Today. I'm aboard there. Insight, treatment, page 20 to 21. There you go, 20 to 21. Insight, treatment, page 20 to 21. A hard look at evidence-based treatment. An analyst highlight a need for better research and going checkup and therapy. The world of mental health treatment is vast, and some types of therapy have stacks of empirical study backing them up. In recent years, however, scientists have found that many seemingly well-supported psychological findings may actually be the product of inadequate scientific standard and practices. The concern about false findings are reaching into the clinical realm. A team of psychologists recently analyzed the research on therapy that have been designated empirical supported treatments, ESTS, by Clinical Psychology Treatments of the American Psychological Association. The division have labeled more than 80% of types strong, modest, or controversial based on how well supported each one seemed. The team used multiple measures to assess the quality of the study, flagged as supporting these teams as these treatments, including, for example, rate of misreported statistic. Another metric used, called the Reparability Index, account for how well equipped a study actually was to make the reported finding. Statistically, unlike results could signal questionable research practices or selective reporting that mask a less flattering body of evidence. Fewer than half the treatment evidence based on considerable credit on all metric according to the author. For certain treatments, including some labeled as having strong supported by the APA, clinical divisions such as dialectical behavior therapy for borderline personality disorder. The research showed weaknesses across the board. It is not necessarily the case that such treatment don't work, stressed co-author John Kitchener, Psychologist of the University of Victoria. What we're saying is that if this is what it meant to be a strong EST, those articles did not appear in terms of these metrics in a way that I think most people would hope. Some treatment fare better under scrutiny. The study reporting cognitive behavior therapy for generalized anxiety disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder, for example, were judged strong on most of the metric applied. It had been recommended for many years now that in therapy, a clinician and a therapist assess how well the process is going, said co-author Alexander J. Williams, a clinician psychologist at the University of Kansas. When it's hard to tell whether EST is, in fact, based on strong evidence, the researcher argued this kind of assessment become even more critical. Williams advised that patients should be checking in with their therapist. How will we assess it's going? How will we assess how therapy is going? Therapists should be encouraging their patient to communicate how they're doing, and that should be an ongoing, frequent part of therapy, wrote Matt Hudson. Now we're on cash for quit. That's this. Cash for quit. Paying people to give up smoking appeared to be an effective strategy. That smoking is bad for you is common knowledge. Tobacco use is the leading cause of preventable disease, disability, and death in the U.S. So finding solutions that will help people quit and stick with it are crucial. One approach, at least, has been proven to work: paying smokers to give up the habit. A review published in the Cochrane Database of Systematic Review incorporated 33 studies with more than 21,600 participants in total. In each study, participants were offered a financial incentive to quit smoking, ranging from $45 to $1,185 in cash or voucher for goods. Participants were monitored for at least 6 months and tested for evidence of smoking. The reviewer concluded that people who received award were significantly more likely to have stopped smoking than those who received none. Of the participants who received incentive, 10.5% quit, compared to 7% in groups that did not. It didn't seem to matter how much participants were paid. Those who received the smallest sum were just as likely to quit as those who received a larger amount. And while the difference in success rate between the group may seem small, giving up smoking often requires multiple attempts. And in the review, receiving an incentive also lowered the likelihood of a participant returning to the habit once the program was finished. In addition to the detrimental health effect of smoking, the habit puts such a significant financial burden on the healthcare system that the use of financial reward to boost quit rates could be a cost-effective option, wrote Sherry Hall. Now we're on Insight, treatment page 22. Overlook in the opioid crisis. Over 130 Americans die each day from opioid overdose. Most attention has focused in white, rural, and suburban America, but recent data show that opioid deaths have risen faster in recent years among black than among other racial groups in the U.S. Policy and treatment approach often fail to account for the needs of black communities, but these three solutions could address those challenges, wrote Carrie Rick, PhD. One, prescribe buprenorphine equally. Buprenorphine is not the golden standard for treatment. The medication partially binds to opioid receptor, relieving symptom of withdrawal without providing the same high. The patient on buprenorphine are more likely to secure employment, avoid relapsing, and improve the quality of life. Most important, it can cut the risk of an overdose by a staggering 50%. Yet, whites are almost 35 times more likely than black to receive the medication, according to a recent study. The reason isn't entirely clear, but one explanation is that prescribers aren't incentivized to work in low-income black communities, where Medicaid reimbursement rates are minimal. 2. Open overdose prevention center. Opioid overdose among blacks are concentrated in cities, where heroin and methamphetamine claim more lives than do prescription opioids. Overdose prevention centers or supervised consumption sites could be a solution for urban areas. They have opened in their countries, but not counties, but not in the U.S. Individuals struggling with addiction could use opioids under the supervision of professional trained to test the drug for methamphetamine, administer the overdose reversal drugs, naloxone, and refer visitors to treatment. 3. Emphasize treatment, not incarceration. Although law enforcement have shifted away from incarcerating substance abusers, blacks are still more likely to be arrested for drug use and punished more severely than whites, according to the NAACP division program, which de-emphasizes incarceration in favor of treatments, are a stark contrast to the aggressive tactic police have historically used in black communities. More departments should adopt it. Thriving after depression. Many reclaim a fulfilling life and meaningful relationship. What are the chances of a complete recovery from major depression? While the conditions seem sometimes linger or recur, many people go on flourishing, according to a recent study published in Clinical Psychological Science. Researchers analyzed a large data set and identified 239 adults who are suffering an episode of major depression. They were surveyed on measures of psychological well-being, such as having a sense of purpose and a strong relationship at 2 points in time, 10 years apart. 10% of this initially depressed sample were not only managing their symptoms, but thriving, scoring at the 50 percentile or higher on 8 of the 9 measures of well-being. By comparison, 21% of adults who have been depressed were considered thriving. "10% may seem small, but until now it wasn't clear that anyone with depression recovered it so fully. These results could encourage patients and clinicians to think differently about what's possible for those with depression. Instead of aiming only to relieve symptoms, the goal could be to thrive for a deep sense of fulfillment," wrote Lydia Dentworth. Okay, now we're on the last page, which is Insight, Unconventional Division, Unconventional Wisdom, page 23, wrote by Hera Escoff Morano at AskHera@psychologytoday.com. Single and suffering. I am 34 and have never had a boyfriend. I would like to be with a successful guy so that he can love me enough to make me love myself. I have had a crush on a guy for 10 years, but I fear that he would see that I'm not fun enough, capable enough, or socially grateful enough. I can't relax around successful men, and I come off as boring. As a child, my mom daily berated me for being lazy, stubborn, spoiled, narcissistic, dishonest, a snob, immature, wherever she felt like throwing at me. I now feel sorry for her. She just hated herself. I never have a close relationship with her or my mom, whom I hadn't had seen in 30 years. My dad is great, but we really know each other. We really know what to say to each other. Yes, I am a loser. Help. That was by an anonymous source. There's a difference between being a loser and being lost. Your stepmom hurls such an aggressive cloud of insult that she left no way for you to see yourself. It is a tribute to your generosity that you have mustered the compassion to forgive her. Your path beyond that, the continuing reach for her insult, is to extend some of that same generosity to yourself. Most people have an inner critic that judges them harshly in high-stake moments, but yourself is relentless. You spent a childhood being homeschooled in how to berate yourself. It's called self-esteem because only you can lift it by challenging yourself. The negative thoughts that flood your mind about how badly you're doing in social encounter come so swiftly that it seems automatic and inevitable, but they are not. Were only you were overprogrammed by your stepmom to jump to those conclusions. It's time to talk back, not to her but to yourself. You're right, however, to think that no successful guy is likely to fall for you, but not because you're not good enough. It's because you're not comfortable enough with yourself. That, however, is mediatable. First, it might be instructive to consider why you allowed yourself to stay stuck for 10 years on one man around whom you feel worthless, while imagining that he can't magically boost your self-esteem. It's called self-esteem because only you can do things that lift it. The only way that happens is by challenging yourself and doing something differently. Preferably starting with small goals, even those who feel weird and risky at first, versus the comfort of the familiar. One is to keep the crush going on for 10 years. Which is to keep the crush on for 10 years at the great cost of your happiness. A productive start might be to tackle the anxiety that robbed you of yourself in big moments. Set a first goal, a successful conversation with your father. Ask him to join you for lunch. What to talk about. Ask him about himself, about his childhood, his favorite memories, or what he's happiest about. Plan on bringing a smile to the occasion and to every other social encounter. It puts people at ease and draw them out, so you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. Learn to sit quiet through signs. They can be very tempting. They're not signs of failure. Maybe you should arrange dinner or lunch with dad once a week. It can be helpful to lower your anxiety level before social encounter. People underestimate the contribution that physical activities make to everyday mental states. Go for a 30 minutes run before any event. You don't have to be a runner, just put on a pair of sneakers and go. Another concrete step is to stop the rough self-evaluation in the track before they overtake your brain. Identify the people and situations that trigger you to turn against yourself. Prepare in advance to combat the litany of lousiness. List all the positive things about yourself. Create a note on your cell phone and review it whenever you start slipping into negativity. Also develop and silently rehearse a few strategy things to say to people to carry through difficult situations. Everybody has social gamut. Why not you? Your belief that you need a successful person to validate you is not only wrong, it's binding you to more important qualities like kindness. People who treat you kindly are likely to have a great sense of themselves and to treat others well. You should seek nothing less in a potential partner. Okay, and Thursday, December the 5th, 2019, yesterday, was the final, and today is Friday, December the 6th, 2019, is makeup for Miss Finals. Basically, makeup for the finals that some people missed yesterday, because not everybody, because some teachers schedule finals with other teachers, and they're not in the same class. Basically, this is the December 2019 issue, 11 of 11, the power boundary, learn to set limits, final testing. Now, let me go over the handout, the cheat sheets before you take the exam. Okay? So it's on page 19. That's where I got it from this magazine. Here we go. Basically, the evolution of hygiene in its orders. So basically, it's from 1600 to 2000. So it's 1600, 1700, 1800, 1900, 2000 in a row. That's all. That's the final exam.